מרבים בשמחה. נכנס אדר. I'm just getting the page. There we go. נכנס אדר. נכנס. מרבים בשמחה, מי שנכנס אדר, מרבים בשמחה. I hope everyone at home was singing along, even though you're on mute. Shalom Aleichem. Gabriel, you missed the singing. We just sang Misha Nichnas, so we'll sing it afterwards with you. Okay, gentlemen, Erev Tov, good evening. We are Gemara Masechet Berachot, Daf Chaf Bet Amud Aleph, on 22A. We are learning about the laws of a Baal Keri. A Baal Keri is a man, a male, who had a seminal emission. Presumably, he had relations with his wife. And the halachas, there was an opinion that says that someone who has a seminal emission has to go to the mikveh before they could study Torah. We said last week that the halacha is not like that anymore. Remember, we had your question about Ezra Sofer and Tosaf's answers. The halacha, we're going to see Shulchan Aruch, hopefully, it does not apply. However, there was a takana made by Ezra Sofer. And Ezra Sofer's takana, his enactment was that a man, after he has a seminal emission, before he could study Torah, he has to go to the mikveh. Okay? Now tonight, we concluded that everyone remember the line? Anyone remember of Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera? In divrei Torah mikabelin tuma. The words of Torah don't become impure. So a person who had relations doesn't become impure. So he's allowed to go ahead and study Torah. It's no problem. Okay, so first things first, I want to be clear. This is not the halacha. However, the Gemara does have a question. And that's what we're going to be discussing tonight. And with that, I hope to make this a very, very, very relevant Gemara shir. Because the Gemara itself perhaps is not so relevant or not so practical, but we're going to make it very practical. What's the question is as follows. What is the minimum requirement for a mikveh? A man has to go to the mikveh. How much is a mikveh? Does anyone know? Volume measurements? How much is a mikveh? 40 se'ah. That is correct. 40 se'ah is correct. How much is a se'ah? No one knows. Okay, so by the end of the night, this is my goal. You ready? By the end of the night, we're starting from scratch. I hope everyone knows how to calculate how much is a se'ah. So when you say 40 se'ah, you'll be able to say, oh, that's this many liters or this many gallons. I'm going to give you the formula. By the end of the night, I hope you guys have your calculators, pen and paper, calculator. I hope by the end of the night, we'll be able to calculate, according to different opinions, how much is a mikveh. And the reason that's relevant is because we're going to have a machloket here about how much is required. So we're going to go ahead and see it. We're going to get into calculations. You're going to see that it's not, you're going to think it's not so practical, but we're going to make it very practical. We're going to teach you some very, very, very important things tonight. There was something I needed. Okay, I'll get it later. All right, here we go. Continue. We are now beginning. Gemara, Masechet Berachot, Daf Chaf Bet Amud Aleph, starting with Tanu Rabbanan. If you're looking in the art scroll, it is on 22A-3, right? Yes, the last two lines on 22A3. Okay, everyone with me? So, Baal Keri, a man who had an emission, has to go to the mikveh before he studies Torah. The halacha is not like this. But when that was around, when that enactment was around, there was a leniency. Tonight we're going to talk about that. Okay, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Baal Keri, a man who had an emission, shenatnu alav tish'a kabin mayim, tahor. If he wasn't able to go to a mikveh, which is let's say a bath, not really a bath, but it's like a tub size, where he could submerge his own body, if he doesn't have 40 se'ah of a mikveh, he can pour on himself 9 kavin. 9 kavin is much less. And tonight we're going to calculate exactly how much. Come Rama, we need you. We're going to calculate exactly how much 9 kavin is. But this is what it's telling us, that if a Baal Keri, instead of going to a mikveh, for which you need 40 se'ah, as Josh told us, if instead he pours 9 kavin worth of water, kav is a volume measurement, 9 of those, tahor, he is pure. Now, this makes things a lot easier. So Nachum ish Gamzo, there's a lot of stories with him in Masechet Ta'anit. Lechashel Rabbi Akiva. So he taught this law to Rabbi Akiva that, hey, a Balkari doesn't need to go to a mikveh. All they need to do is pour our 9 kavin, tisha kavin on himself. So he whispered this law to Rabbi Akiva, meaning he taught it to him privately. Rabbi Akiva lechashel ben Azai, and Rabbi Akiva then taught this law to Ben Azai, to maybe his student. Ben Azai, what did Ben Azai do? Ben Azai says, I'm breaking the chain. Yatsa ushna'ah letamidav bashuk. He went and he taught all of his students in the streets, meaning he made it very public. There was this hush-hush law. The hush-hush law is a Balkari has to go to the mikveh. But if instead of going to the mikveh, where he has to go find something that's 100% kosher and he has to go dip, instead of doing that, if he takes 9 kavin and dunks it on himself, and we're going to calculate how much that is, he's fine, he's clear, he's tahor. So this law, Nachum ish Gamzo went and told Rabbi Akiva. Then Rabbi Akiva at one point told Ben Azai. Ben Azai's like, everybody. He posted, he made a press release, taught this rule to everyone. Okay? Now, what's okay? Very good. Very good. So Elon says, why did the first 2 rabbis keep it a secret? And why did the third one publicize it? So the Gemara actually says, by the way, the fact that he publicized it was a machloket. There were 2 rabbis in Israel that argued. Rabbi Yosef bar Ravin, Rabbi Yosef bar Zevida. 2 Rabbi Yosis. One was Rabbi Yosef bar Ravin. One was Rabbi Yosef bar Zevida. Chad taneh shena'a. One had the version of this braita that he went out and he taught it publicly. V'chad taneh lechasha. The other one said, no, he also whispered it. He also taught it privately. So now what we have is Nachum ish Gamzu taught it privately. Rabbi Akiva taught it privately. Ben Azai is a machloket. One said he taught it privately. One said, no, he taught it publicly. So the Gemara is going to say, why are you keeping it private? Why are you publicizing it? Okay, let's see what the Gemara says. Man the one that says he went and he publicized it, Mishum bitul Torah, umishum bitul Pirya v'Revia. This enactment was causing 2 problems. One problem, what was it doing? It was stopping people from studying Torah. Why? Because what was the enactment? What was Ezra Sofer's enactment? Someone tell me? Torah. Someone, a Balkari, one who has relations, is not allowed to study Torah until he goes to the mikveh. So what happened? People stopped studying Torah. I'm asur, I call in sick. You go to yeshiva, and the rabbi calls your home and says, hey, where I haven't seen you in 3 days. Like, I had relations. Sorry. Okay. I had relations, and then it's a high school kid, and you have some other issues they have to deal with. But the point is that I'm kidding. But he said he's a balakir, he's a halacha. I can't study Torah. So what do? They're trying to make it easier. They say you don't have to go to the mikveh. You just take a 9 kavin and pour it on yourself. Okay, so that's bitul Torah. This enactment was causing people not to study Torah. And then on the flip case, umishum bitul Pirya v'Revia. It was also hurting the mitzvah of having children. Why? Because the husband wouldn't go with his wife. Why? I have a daf yomi shiur at 5 a.m. Okay, or I have 6 a.m. I have a daf yomi shiur. So if you want to go to 6 a.m. to daf yomi shiur, so what do you have to do? So some people, they say, okay, I'll shower at night, so this way I could chick-chack, get ready and run out in the morning. Imagine I told you have to drive to the mikveh and then take your towel with you. Daf yomi shiur. So you know what the guy does? 2 options. One is, I'm not going to go to Daf Yomi Shiur. Another option is, I won't be with my wife. And then what ends up happening is, fertility rates go down. The reproduction rate is going down. Bitul, Pirya v'Revia, people weren't having kids. So that's why Ben Azai said, enough's enough. I have a simple way of doing it. You go in your shower, you dunk 9 kavin on yourself, it takes you 3 minutes, and you go. You don't have to make a whole big deal about this. But the other opinion that says that Ben Azai whispered it, which means Nachum ish Gamzu whispered it, Rabbi Akiva whispered it, Ben Azai whispered it. Why didn't they want people to know this rule that you can do Tisha Kabin? Because they didn't want Talmidei Chachamim, wise scholars, to be with their wives like roosters. I don't know what roosters are like, but apparently roosters go when they want to go, and they're going all the time. So one rooster, 20 hens, and the thing is having fun all day. So this is it's an expression of an exaggeration. So and I mentioned this last time. If a man is having relations with his wife every night, every morning, every afternoon, and all day, all night, he's having relations, he's not going to be able to have shiur, he's not going to be able to teach, he's not going to be able to learn, he's not going to be able to, like I said, daf yomi in the morning, forget about it. Forget about going to minyan, because the person is doing this. The person is laid up at night. So what happened? Ezra said, look, you have to do the mitzvah, you have to do the mitzvah, but not every day. We're going to make it difficult. We're going to say that every time you have relations, you can't study Torah. Who feels this? Well, someone who cares about studying Torah, right? Talmidei Chachamim. If someone's not a Talmid Chacham, what does he care? You tell me I can't go to the mikveh, I won't be able to study Torah until I go to the mikveh. So the regular people, this enactment doesn't even affect, because they don't care. They don't care about Torah study. Who is the ones that cares about this? Talmidei Chachamim. So Ezra Sofer is helping keep Talmidei Chachamim in, what's it called? Moderation. Not all the time. Not to be like a rooster that's going with their spouse all the time. Okay, very good. So I asked the question. I asked the question today in the chat. You're not in the chat. We could add you if you want. We asked a question in the chat. I said, who wants to go to their shower, turn on the running water, and to measure the rate at which water is coming out of their shower head? Does anyone know? I asked for I asked for an experiment. I got 2 AI answers. Rama, there's no way you did this experiment. There's no way. You have like perfect. At least if you want to make it seem it's not AI, just throw in a typo, something. It's very clear you didn't write this. I'm kidding. But yeah, so okay, Rama, tell me what you found.
So basically, you're right, I got it off Meta AI, and it depends on your shower head.
You didn't even leave the app. I told you to go to the shower, you didn't even leave the app. Okay, fine.
This low flow is 2.5 gallons per minute.
Okay.
If it's standard, it's 2.5 to 4 gallons per minute. And if it's high flow, it's 4 to 8 gallons.
What are you washing an elephant? What is this? 8 gallons a minute? Yeah. Hold on a second. The other person sent me. Brian sent something that said in New York State it's capped. It's capped at 2.5. So in New York State it's capped at 1.8.
Change your shower head.
Oh my gosh, Rama. Okay, Rama, we're speaking to the right guy. Okay, so here's what I want to do with you. Okay, we're gonna have some fun tonight. I have a goal. I usually don't have this. I mean, whatever. I have a goal for tonight. Our goal is as follows. I want everyone to be able to tell me how much is 9 kavin. I want everyone to be able to tell me how much is 40 se'ah. I want everyone to be able to tell me how much is an egg worth. I want everyone to be able to tell me how much is 1.5 egg worth. I want you to be able to tell me how much is 43.2 egg worth. I want you to be able to tell me all of this. Okay? Once we learn the formula, it should be very easy. The formula is in Hebrew. So I'm going to tell it to you. You ready? Askelav Godoo. Say it. Askelav Godoo. Okay. People on the Zoom, unmute yourself and say Askelav Godoo.
Askelav Godoo.
Yeah, who said that?
Askelav Godoo.
Okay, very good. Now here we go. I'm gonna show you what Askelav Godoo means, and then we're gonna go to my favorite place in this world, Microsoft Excel. Okay, so just give me a paper. What is this? Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Askelav Aleph. Oi. Pen. I need a pen. Let's do red. Askelav. See what I did there? Askelav. Different color. We'll give you blue. Go. Do. Once I had Rabbi Chaim say, give me a piece of paper, give me a pencil. And on my paper with my pencil, he wrote it just like this. Askelav Godoo. Okay? What does this mean? It's a mnemonic. Aleph stands for something. Samech stands for something. So you're going to have to remember what I stand for. But we're going to learn what each of these are. Aleph. efa. Okay. Wait, am I able to tell? Oh, you know what? Let's do it like this. Okay. No, it's not letting me do Hebrew. It doesn't like it. The whiteboard doesn't like Hebrew. Sorry. So it's okay. We'll do it like this. Efa is the aleph. What's the samech, Josh? Se'ah. And how much is a mikveh? 40 se'ah. So when we get up to se'ah, you're going to have to, whatever we find out, whatever se'ah is, times 40 is how much a mikveh. What's the kuf? Kavin, right? Or we're just going to call it a kav. And the requirement that we're saying here is that you could pour 9 kav on yourself, and that's enough. Lamed?
Log.
Who's saying log? How do I backspace? Who said log? How do you know? Itai. Ay, Baba. Log. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Very good. Log. And what's the bet?
Betza.
Betza is an egg. By the way, I didn't look at the bottom of the art scroll. So this is me doing my own thing. Okay, betza. So now you have it. Askelav Godu. Let's talk about what Godu is. I'm going to do the blue pen. What is Gimel? 3. You know what? Let's do it like this. The number 3. Gimel. Does anyone know the numerical value of Gimel? 3. What's the numerical value of Vav? 6. What's the numerical value of Daled? 4. Numerical value of Vav? 6. So what does this mean? There are 6 Beitzim in one log. Okay, so you're going up. Beitza down here, 6 of them in one log. There are 4 log in one kav. There are 6 kav in one se'ah. There are 3 se'ah in one efa. The largest thing here is an efa. The smallest thing here is beitza. Beitza is an egg. So if you ever get confused, which one is bigger? Beitza is this. Efa is, okay? Efa is going to have 432 eggs in it. Like we're going to see that calculation right now. So what's happening here? You have, if I ask you a log, how many beitzim is a log? 6. It's part of, it's godu. How many log are in one kav? 4. How many beitzim are in a kav? 24. Good math. How many beitzim are in a se'ah?
144.
It's 24 times 6. So it's
1 times 6 is 150. So
144.
140.
144 is what you said, right? Yeah, I think it's 144. Take the 4s and put it by the 2 6s, you get 12 times 12. Okay, so yeah, it's 144. Okay, and then do 40 of those is 40 se'ah. Have I lost you all? We're just doing simple multiplication. I think it's time to go to an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, let's do this.
Here's question.
Who? Yeah.
Why didn't Zayt make the cut?
Machloket, like a 3-way machloket about where a zayit falls. The way we hold, I mean, there are times where we're strict, times that we're lenient. It's about half of a beitza. That's the answer is going to be about half of beitza, but it's machloket. Yeah.
Why we do it based on something
Mm.
on the
Revi'it. Oh!
3.5 milliliters. Is that a modern?
No. So you already are giving me the answer, right? You're already anchored. No, see, now you're gonna have a bias because you're already saying I know the answer is 3.5 for a revi'it. So I'm not gonna tell you how to fit revi'it here because then your biases are gonna throw you off. I'm gonna come to the end. Make sure. What? Ama is it? Yeah, this is all volume measurement. Ama is a distance measurement, which is good. Yeah. Oh, very good. Oh, okay. We have to take a moment. Let's take a minute right here to explain something. Yoni is saying something very important. For any item, you have ways that you could measure it. You could measure it in 2-dimensional. What Tomer is saying, that's a distance. You could measure it 3-dimensional. That's volume. You could measure it on a scale, which is weight. That has nothing to do with a distance. Okay, so you could have a one-dimensional or two-dimensional distance. That's like where you have ama, or there's etzba, or there's tefach. These are all two-dimensional distances. But once you get to volume, it's three-dimensional. Now you're also saying that there's weight here. The truth is, when we talk about beitzah, we are talking about a volume measurement. We're not talking about a weight. Now, what happens is, if you know what the volume measurement of an egg is, and you also want to do a calculation of, okay, on average, this is how much they weigh, you can say how much it weighs on average, so you could start making some conversions. But right now, we're talking about volume only. When you want to talk about a mikveh, you don't talk about the weight of the water. You talk about the volume of the water. How big does the tub have to be? If you want to say that you have to pour something on yourself, you wouldn't say, if you had to pour water on yourself, or you had to pour water somewhere, you would say, see this? Let's take off the blur for a second. Anyone know how much this is? Let's see how good your eyes are. What's this measurement? Don't say anything. And Andrew asked for me for one, and then Teflak, she filled it up with water. She gave it a full one with how much? 60 liters? 60 milliliters? 60 milliliters is a shot glass. No, okay, it's terrible. Okay, it's a gallon. Okay, what else? 2 liters. 2 liters. 2 liters. This is 60 milliliters. Actually, 2 liters. Yeah. Okay, this is 1 gallon. Let me show. Oh no, hold on. Okay, let me show you. Up until here is 1 gallon. So this is a gallon. But if you go to this side, it's 3 liters. So it happens to be 3 point something liters. Rama, I want you to find out for me by doing an experiment. How do you convert a liter to a gallon? There's got to be 3 liters in a gallon, because that's what I'm seeing here. Okay, so you'll let us know. So this, if I told you need water, I wouldn't say I need 4 pounds of water. Pound is a weight measurement. You would say volume. Good?
1 liter is 0.2642 gallons.
Okay, give me the opposite.
So the opposite is
1 gallon is 3 point. Did you say? By the way,
I think it's like 3.2 or 3.3.
yeah. This is 3. This is a gallon, so it's got to be 3
1
point.
gallon is 3.785 liters.
Ooh, okay, 3.785. Okay, 3.8 liters in 1 gallon. Very good. So now what I'm asking you is, let's say you had to make one of these that was tisha kabin. Let's say there was a lot of there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of men, they can't get to the mikveh, and they want to do tisha kabin. And you have a brilliant idea. You're going to go on Etsy and start selling custom-made morning after thing, something like that. Yeah, exactly. So how big would you make it? Okay, so first we're going to talk in terms of eggs to get that answer. And then we're going to say, well, it depends on what the egg is in milliliters, and you're going to have all of your answers. So let's do it. Sorry, Ita, I answered your question? Yeah, you asked about Kazait. Very good. Okay, so let's do this. Let's write over here. Askelav Godu. What are Askelav? What's the Aleph? Efa. Ooh, I could do it in Hebrew, but I'm doing it in English. Efa. I'm not showing my screen. I will now. Thank you. Askelav. Askelav. What's the Samech?
Yeah.
Se'ah. Aske. Kuf. Kav. Next.
Kabin.
That's kav. Kav is singular. Kavin is plural. Kav. Next is
No.
log. Not a log. Log. Last. Betza. Okay. So what I need to do is, this is the way they do this calculation. I'm going to do a little bit of transpose magic here for you guys. There you go. Whoever saw that, that was fast. Okay, so we're going to say 1 efa is in 1 efa, 1 se'ah is in 1 se'ah. This is usually how you do these conversion tables. The diagonal is all 1. It's like a matrix. So the question is, how many, you have to make sure I'm saying this the right way. So how many start from betza and go up? How many betza in a log? Askelav go do. 6. Like you said, we're going to go backwards. So it's askelav. That's why I wanted to do it according. Go do. Go do. As, there, an efa has 4 se'ah. Askelab Aleph Samech. Go. Sorry. Go. Going back here. You have 3, 6, 4, 6. So Efa is 3 se'ah. Se'ah is how many kav? 6. Kav is how many log? 4. Log is how many beitzah? 6. You'll find this chart where they flip it the other way, but you're following, okay? So let's do the math. How many beitzah is in 1 kav? 24. I'm going to do this times this. 24. How many log is in a se'ah? Same answer. How many, right? Because you have 6 kav in a se'ah, and a log, and there's 4 log in a kav, so there's 24 log in a se'ah. How many beitzah in a se'ah? You can tell me what formula I'm going to put in there. Okay, 6 times 4 times 6. Oh, what 2,000? 144. We did this already before. This is the one we did before. Next, how many kav in an efa? No, yeah, that's where we're going to get to. Very good. 18 is here. How many log in an efa is 3 times 24? And how many beitzah in a 432? Is that right? Is that right? Let's see. Times 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6. That's correct. Okay? You following or no? I'm just doing the formula. All right. Let's see that. What do you want to do? Center the numbers. Oh, you're saying like you don't like it in the cell? Wow. Ilan, I didn't know you're nitpicky with your Excel, but I give it to you because I'm also very nitpicky.
I do alternating colors.
Oh, relax. Relax, get out of here. Alternating colors. You did. I didn't send. Okay, fine. Here. Oh, okay. You want to make it a table? There's a way to do that very easily. Data. Where is it? Where is it?
Conditional formatting on Tuesday night itself.
Go back to home.
Conditional formatting. Not sorry, but to the right formatted table.
Elon, favorite color? Green. Okay, there you go. Okay, it didn't give me the. Okay, so we'll think it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you're with me? So far, so good? Rama, singing. Rama, I love you. Baruch Hashem. Here we go. What is the okay? So now let's do this. Beitzah. How many eggs or beitzim? Let's just call it beitzah in 9 kav is my first question. 40 se'ah is my second question. 9 kav is the. Let's start with 40 se'ah because that's the size of a mikveh. Who can tell me what to put in the cell? 40 se'ah. We're going to start with 40 se'ah so that you find out how much a 40 times 144. Very good. What is this? This is beitzim in a mikveh. Minimum mikveh. Correct. Okay. That means I'm going to tell you in a moment what is the volume measurement of an egg. Whatever a volume measurement of the egg is, a mikveh has 5,760 of those. You know, on the interview question, when you go for Google, they say, how many ping pongs can you fit in Citi Field? How many eggs can you fit inside of a mikveh? The answer is 5,760. Okay, the volume measurement. Okay, in a moment, it's gonna be clear. How many kav? How many eggs are there in 9 kav? 9 times Sursa 216. You got it right, Richard. Okay, so you see the difference. Let's see percentage-wise. How much are you making this easier for me? You're telling me I need 4% of the amount of water. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. One person says you need to go inside of a huge pool. The other one says, Shimi, you just take 4% of that, pour it on yourself. Shalom al Israel. It's a big deal. You see? Okay, so hopefully now this gives you a little bit of a more. Now, here's what I need to do next. If I tell you how many beitzah, or let's do it like this. How big is a beitzah in milliliters? Because once I tell you this, I could multiply that by this to tell you how many milliliters is in a mikveh or in 9 kav. You get what I'm trying to get at? So how many beitzah is in a milliliter? Oh, Josh, you have to explain what you're saying. How do you find out? Very good. Very good. How do you measure the volume of an irregular shaped item? This takes you back to I did this in chemistry. I'm pretty sure I did this in 10th grade, and I did this in college also. If you want to measure the volume of an irregularly shaped item, what you do is you say the water displacement value. So what that means is I'm going to take this cup of water and fill it all the way to the tippy top. Then I take an egg, I put a bowl underneath so I could catch what's about to happen. I put an egg in here very gently, slowly, and water is going to spill out. How much water came out? Put that in a measuring cup. That is the volume measurement of an egg. You got it? How do you measure the volume of an irregularly shaped item? The answer is water displacement. Displacement means it takes the place up. You fill a cup of water, you put an egg in the water comes out. That amount of water you measure in a cylinder that has like lines, or like anyone who has a dad, like a baby bottle, you could see exactly how much water displacement it is. And that's the amount that is the volume measurement of one egg. Okay? So how much is it? The answer is that there's a lot of different opinions of how big an egg is. There's a lot of different opinions. We're going to start with Reb Chaim Naeh, and then we're going to do all of them. Reb Chaim Naeh, actually, let's do the Rav Ovadia Yosef. Rav Ovadia Yosef is going to tell us how much? Yes! You need this whole calculation for matzah. Okay? Sorry, guys. I have some cheat sheets. Don't look. Yeah, I'm just going to copy this over. I already did a lot of this work. And like, I want to do it live so you guys follow what I'm doing, but it's okay. Here we go. Here are all of the opinions. What? The Khatam Sofer's egg is like more than double the size of Rav Ovadia's. We're going to start with Rav Ovadia Yosef. Rav Ovadia Yosef says 54 milliliters of water displacement per egg. You with me? So one egg, you take it, you put it in, takes out how much water comes out according to Rav Ovadia Yosef. Halachically, we're talking about 54 milliliters of water. So how milliliters or liters? Let's talk about liters. How many liters are in a mikveh? You take 216 is 9 kav. I'm first talking about mikveh is 9. It's 40 se'ah. You take 5760 beitzim in a se'ah times milliliters in a. All right, and now this is milliliters. So I'll divide by 1,000 to give you liters. A mikveh has 317 liters, whereas the 9 kav is how much? 4%. 4% of that. Or we could just say like 216 times 54 divided by 1,000 to give me liters. The answer is 11, 12, approximately 12. All right.
12 liters.
12 liters. Yeah. Let me see.
12 liters of water on yourself.
12 liters of water on yourself. How much is 12 liters? Okay, so I went to my laundry room
It's about 4 gallons.
and I found this. Okay, follow me. My finger right over here is 2 liters. That's 4 liters. This line, they put a big sticker that says max is 6 liters. This is 6 liters, probably.
Whole thing.
This is 8, this is 10, this is 12.
This is your column.
I'm selling this on Etsy for the morning after. This is it. I'm kidding. But this, it was actually pretty crazy. I was like, I need some container. I went down, I'm like, holy cow, this is Tisha Kabin. This is exactly Tisha Kabin. So this thing right here is, okay, give or take. I'm just like eyeballing it. But I think this is exactly what Tisha Kabin is. So all you had to do is pour this much amount of water instead of going to the mikveh. Yes, Tomer.
Water, is it just on your head or it's on your whole body?
It's on your whole body. It has to be poured on your body, the whole thing, and you try to get the whole body. There's a whole discussion I was reading. Someone says you have to cross your arms around you, and but it's only your whole body. Your whole body.
Isn't your whole body then much at the same time? If you're pouring it over your head, you're gonna miss some spots.
Correct.
It's not the same as that being in the mikveh.
Correct. And also, this is only 4% of the size of a mikveh. Clearly, this is not a mikveh. So your question is your question, wait, this is not a mikveh? Yeah, exactly. This is not a mikveh. This is 4% the amount of water, and you're not going in this, you're just splashing it on yourself, which clearly is not going to cover the same thing. That's why it's such a big deal. That's why Ben Azai came and said, like, why are you holding this a secret for people? You have to tell people. The whole gezerah, the whole takana that Ezra Sofer made is not a requirement. Remember, why did Ezra Sofer make a takana that a balkari has to go to the mikveh?
Over relations with your wife.
That's it. So Talmidei Chachamim don't go like roosters. So what did he do? He just has to make something difficult for you. Now, doing this is difficult enough that this is also acceptable, according to one opinion. We're going to see not everyone agrees. But Rama, if you're coming from the mindset of, hold on a second, I have tum'ah, I have to get the tum'ah out, you need arba'im se'ah. A woman who is a nidah needs to have arba'im se'ah, needs to have a kosher mikveh. A man who wants to go to the Beit HaMikdash needs arba'im se'ah. But we're not talking about real tum'ah. We're talking about a balkari. It's not really tameh. It's a takana. So the takana has leniencies built in. This is Tisha Kabin. And this was by accident. I didn't make this. This is just what we use in my house. But this is Tisha Kabin. Yeah. No, relax.
Shower with enough water could be enough.
Rama, where did you get the idea of a shower from? Where did you get the idea of a shower head from? Yeah, this is why I asked. Okay, now let's connect. Let's connect my real experiment with your AI. Okay, let's experiment. Let's connect. Okay, if you want to fill up 12 liters, what did you tell me your shower head does? According to
the normal is between 1.5 and 2 gallons per minute. But if you want to go high pressure, then it becomes
no elephant stuff. Yeah, just tell me what it is in liters. Okay, ask it. Yeah.
What's the question?
The same. Tell me how many liters per minute come out of an average shower head.
2.5 gallons per minute.
Okay, now I want liters.
3.8.
Just say the rabbi asked for liters. It's divided by 375.
You could have just asked Chat and GBT.
I know.
What does the Talmud say?
No, I know. I wanted someone to go do an experiment. I really wanted someone to go in and say, I measured. That's what I wanted. I'm going to do this tonight. What do you think I'm going to do later? I'm going to take this home.
The average shower flows at approximately 9 to 15 liters per minute.
9 to 15 liters per minute, and we're saying you need 9. What this means is just standing under the shower for 1 minute. This is not your like high level pressure. This is like okay. So let's say you want to say 9. 2 minutes is very simple. Hassan, can you even go to the shower without being under the water for that long?
Yeah, it's not to be natural water.
It does not need to be natural water. Okay, yeah, exactly. Which means they didn't have plumbing. They had to go to the local place, whatever, would take this much water and pour themselves. It wasn't so easy Because if it was this easy, then it wouldn't make a difference. You know, you just shower. It's not such a big deal.
Yeah, once they could go and grab, walk in and do it 20 times.
Yeah. They could take one of these and they could do it 4 times. 4 times of this, or once this. Now that we did this background, I want to just make sure because we really didn't cover much Gemara tonight, but we covered something very important. We covered, and we're going to cover a lot more Gemara in the next couple lines. I'm going to fly because we did a lot. We have to cover. Askelav Godu. I know we did a lot of calculations here, but I want you guys to say it again. Askelav Godu. Askelav, what is Askelav? Efa, Se'ah, Kav, Log, Betza. That spells Askelav. And then you have Godu. Godu is the amounts that are in there. It's 3, 6, 4, 6. Coming back to this chart, you write Askelav Godu in between so that you know an Efa has 3 Se'ah. A Se'ah has 6 Kav. A Kav has 4 Log, and a Log has 6 Betza. You do this, you know the calculation. If I tell you 1 Betza, according to Rav Yosef, is 54 milliliters, then you know how much is a 9 Kav. It's 12 liters. Okay? Now, I just want to show you the most stringent opinion. This is Rav Yosef. Let's just take the most stringent opinion of the Khatam Sofer. The Khatam Sofer would say that you need 113 times 216 divided by 1,000 to give you liters. It's 24 liters. So you need, it's more than double, for sure it's more than double. Or, and the mikveh is going to be this times this divided by this. So 650 liters worth, and you could convert this into gallons to see how much it is. And now let me just go back to my sheet here, because I did a lot of this calculation beforehand. So these are all of the opinions. Converted into liters, Rav Yosef would say the 9 kavin is 11.7 liters, but then that is 3 gallons worth. This, I did the calculation, is divided by 3.78541, whatever that is. So this just gives you a sense. There's a few more things we could do this calculation with. Like Andy asked about Kiddush. Okay, let me come back to Kiddush. First, let's cover some Gemara. Andy, remind me before the end of Shiur to talk about what is the minimum Shiur that you have to say that you need for your Kiddush on Friday night or your Arba Kosot in the light of Pesach. What is the minimum amount? You know all the building blocks, so we could do that. All right, let's continue with the Gemara. Here we go. What did we say? We said that there was a Braita that says that you don't need to go into the mikveh. You could just pour one of these on yourself and you're good to go. Now, what happened is Nachum Ish Gamzu taught this law privately. Rabbi Akiva taught this law privately. And then you have that maybe Ben Azai started to publicize it because he wanted people to know about it. So, Amar Rabbi Yanai says, Shamati shemekilin ba v'shamati shemachmirin ba. I've heard different customs. Some communities, some people, they're lenient and they use the 9 kavin. Some communities are strict and they say, you can't do this. This is like what Rama is saying. You don't need to get your body. This is garbage. It's nothing. You have to go to the mikveh. Rabbi Yanai says that there's 2 customs out there. Whoever is strict on himself, ma'arichin lo yamav ushnotav. Oh, Rabbi Yanai gives you a bracha. Rabbi Yanai says, if you go to the mikveh for a balkari, you get a long life. Okay, very good. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, ma tivan shel tovlei shecharim. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, what's the benefit? What's the point of the people who go to the mikveh in the morning? What's the point? Yeah, he's over here in Canada. So he's coming in. He sees this man going in with a towel. Comes out. Like, what are these guys doing? Where's this for? Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. I'm sure this crossed some of your minds before. But Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi is asking, what's the point of going to the mikveh in the morning? These people that go, why? So Mativan. The Gemara says, what do you mean? What's the point? Ha'ihu de'amar ba'alkeri asur b'divei Torah. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi on the last stop was the one that told us. He brought us the drasha to tell us that a balkeri is asur b'Torah. So Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi was the one that gave us the drasha that a balkari cannot learn Torah until he goes to the mikveh. And then he says, why do people go to the mikveh in the morning? What do you mean? You know that he's not asking like a simple question. What's his question? Hachi kamar. This is what he means to say. Mativan ba'arba'im se'ah. His question is, why do they choose to go in the mikveh with 40 se'ah Efshar betisha kabin. They could simply pour 9 kabin on themselves. Why are they doing that? So when he said, why are people going to the mikveh? It's not that he doesn't know about the law. He's saying, why don't they use the leniency of tisha kabin? Tisha kabin is so much easier. Fill this up, fill like this, and that's it. Why do you have to go to the mikveh? It's so much easier. Ma tivan betvila. Why do they have to dip? Efshar benitina. You could simply put it on you. And Rama, you see, there's a difference of lashon. Tevila means you have to immerse yourself such that it's fully surrounding you. Netina means you pour it on yourself. And obviously, pouring is not as effective. It's not going to hit everywhere. They know that. It's not like the Gemara, they didn't know that. So, but this is what Rabbi Shimon Levi is saying. Why do you have to go through this whole process? Just do the 9 kabin. Amar Rabbi Chanina says, let me tell you why. There's a benefit to going to the mikveh. Gader gadol gadruba. When they did this, it keeps people in check more. This is going back to what we said, how if you make it, there's a reason why Ezra Sofer made this enactment. What's the reason? I told you this. Tell me, what's the reason why Ezra Sofer made this enactment? Like roosters. This is one time to be like roosters. So he's saying, look, yeah, you can do it this way, but there's a reason why he made the Gezerah. They wanted to make it difficult. If you make it so easy, then you just lost the whole point. As you say, like, what was the point? You didn't gain anything. Tanya, we learned in a Braita, crazy story. Crazy story. You ready? There was one guy. He wanted to be with a woman. He wanted to be with a girl. Let's go according to Rashi. Rashi says she was a single girl, but he wanted to sleep around with someone. And he was a Talmid Chacham. And his Yetzer Hara got to him, and he wanted to do something wrong. So Amra lo, so she said to him, Reka, you idiot. Yesh lecha 40 se'ah she'ata tovel bahen. I know you want to do this act with me, but there's no mikveh around here. What are you going to do? Miyad perash. He said, oh, okay, fine, you're right. And he separated from her. It's amazing. Maybe the girl wasn't interested, and she just like needed to push him away with something. It's just like odd. The guy wanted to go do a sin. Well, a guy wanted to go to the sin, and then he says, but there's no mikveh around here. So, then I can't read the Torah. It's my bar mitzvah parsha in the morning. I won't be able to read it. No. Okay, fine. I won't be with you. Or something like that. It makes you wonder, like, what on earth is going on? The guy's about to go do an improper act. She said, but you didn't go to you're not going to have a mikveh to go tomorrow. And he says, okay, fine, you're right. And then Miyad Pirash separates. Very, very interesting. So there's different commentators that ask, like, what on earth? So one commentator, I heard it quoted by Rabbi Raza and Rabbi Leibowitz, is that, different people have different things that they hold strict, and sometimes it's not as important. There's many things that people hold very strict that's not as important. Rabbi Ben Chaim says this all the time. Someone comes and asks a question about something, and he says, you have Shabbat, which is this, and they don't care about. But then there's something else they care about. It's like everything is backwards. But that's how people are. I heard these stories. I don't know, you probably have heard many of these stories. I heard about a story about someone who went on October 7th, went to the party, the Nova Festival, and was up all night. And then he made a neder that every morning he's going to go to the mikveh. So that morning at 6 a.m. on Shabbat, got in his car, drove to go find the mikveh, to go to the mikveh, and he ended up getting saved from the whole thing. I don't know. I heard this story. If you think about the fact that if you were to ask any rabbi, do you even have to go to the mikveh? The answer is no. Should you get in a car on Shabbat to go to the mikveh? The answer will be clearly no. But what happened? This is the guy said, I made a promise, I'm going to go to the mikveh every single day. And then afterwards he said, this saved my life. Okay, if you ask halachically, this makes no sense. Why would this stop you from doing that? No sense. But it happens. Yeah, there you go. He gets a long life. Maybe that's why. Oh, amazing. Very good. Yeah, I have a theory on the long life things. I think when the Gemara says long life, I started to build this theory. I've read this somewhere once, and then I just the theory is that the promise of long life is given for things that take a lot of time. So that it's almost like, what's holding you back from doing it? That you're going to spend time doing it? Don't worry. There'll be more time on the back end. Like, for example, with Shnai Mikra Ve'echat Targum, I think I saw this written by Shnai Mikra Ve'echat Targum. Anyone remember what daf Shnai Mikra Ve'echat Targum in Masechet Berachot is? What daf? Zichru. Daf Chet. On daf Chet, it tells us that a person should learn Shnai Mikra Ve'echat Targum every day. And if someone learns, he's going to live a long life. Why? Because someone might say, look, it takes a lot of time. It takes me 15, 20 minutes a day. It's a few hours out of my week. Don't worry, you're going to get the time back. You'll get the time back. Don't say, I can't study Torah now because I'm going to lose time. You'll get the time back. I think same idea. To go find the mikveh, it takes time. So you're going to have a long life. That's what I think. But it's there. The Gemara, there's an opinion that says, I heard some people are lenient, some people are strict. Whoever is strict, Be'ez Hashem, they're going to have a long life. You get a bracha from Rabbi Zera, right? It was Rabbi Zera. It was Rabbi Yanai. It was, Rabbi Yanai. Marachinu Yamav U'Shnotav, he'll have a long life. So this is what the Gemara is saying, how Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi comes and says, why is everyone giving such a hard time by going to the mikveh? So then Rabbi Chanina comes and says, look, for some people, mikveh is very important. For them, it's important. This is how I interpret his answer. You're right that you don't need to do it. But look, here's a story about someone who the mikveh kept him close. He was about to go do a sin, but because that he would have to go to the mikveh and there's no mikveh, he ended up not doing the act. What if this lady who would have said, don't worry, you could just go to the shower afterwards, then he would have done the act. In other words, this is, I think, where you see many people have the practice of going to the mikveh, especially the Hasidim. Anyone here go to the mikveh for Yom Kippur? We can talk about it. For Yom Kippur Rosh Hashanah, there's the practice that always there's a practice to do it, not necessarily on a normal morning, but there's very often I see people coming in here in their flip-flops in the towel. Yeah, before Shabbat people go. I told you guys the Mohel or Safir says every time he gives a Brit Milah he goes. So there's some idea behind it, and here you see how. I think why I like this Gemara about Rabbi Chanina's response. One of the reasons why I resonate to this Gemara is Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. You're coming and saying, no one needs to do this. You're right, but some people, this is how they connect. This is how this guy connected. He was about to do an act wrong, but this is what saved him. Or this story that I told you about the Nova Festival. I don't know if it's true, but can you say what the guy was doing was wrong? From a Shabbat perspective, what he's doing is wrong, but this is how it connects. Who am I to tell you don't do this? I mean, when you're going against Shabbat, it's one story. Here, this story that they're saying is that it actually saved him from doing things that are wrong. So who am I to tell you, hey, mikveh is nonsense? Who am I to tell you that this is nothing? If this is something that means something to you, and for you it makes you feel spiritual and makes you have a connection to Ribono Shel Olam, and that helps motivate you and helps prevent you from doing sin, who am I to tell you? This is what Rabbi Chanina is saying. Rabbi Chanina is saying it helps some people. So don't discourage it. You know where I feel this way? I feel this way a lot, and you have to be careful. And I'm about to say something that's a bit controversial. It's 9:30. It's a bit controversial, but going to the Kivrei Metim, going to the grave sites of tzaddikim, okay? You're going to have some people that say, of course, you go to the grave sites of tzaddikim. It's this is something that's very important. There's a midrash that tells us that Yoshua, when he was on his way to go to the Meraglim, he went to Hebron and he stopped by Marat HaMachpelah. There's some that will be very against it. Why? Because the Torah tells us don't go to the dead, Doresh Mitim, or even speaking to the dead or going there. Like, don't focus on that. Kohanim, who are our highest level, you're not even allowed to go to a cemetery. Why? Because this is where you should be spending your time. Kohanim are at a higher level. They're involved with more things. They're not even allowed to go to a cemetery. So how can you tell me you should be going? Or we should be going, but the Kohen is not allowed? So here's my perspective. My perspective is, if you think that this person, you're going to go at their gravesite and you're going to pray to them, pray to them. It's borderline avodah zarah. You go and you pray to a person, doesn't matter how great the person is. Very dangerous. We hear stories like this, by the way. We hear stories about I heard that Rav Ovadia Yosef went to the kever of Shulchan Aruch, and he said to go and if you there are stories like this. So maybe there are exceptions, but my point is that if you go and you ask someone, hey, you give me a blessing, and the person is dead, it's scary. It looks like avodah zarah. But if someone goes to the kever of the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, okay, this is a man that has such a tremendous impact to the entire world, whether you're a Hasidish or not. There isn't a city you go to in the world that there isn't a Chabad. You want to have something kosher. You want to go find a mikveh, and all over the world, the work that he did, the shluchim that he sent out throughout the entire world. You go to the kever of the Rebbe, you get inspired. You get inspired. You wake up, you realize, like, look, I'm not going to be here forever. There's going to be a time where I'm going to be here. Look at all of these people that have come that have been impacted by this man's life. I'm still alive. Now's my time to make an impact. Now's my time to make a change in this world, to be like this. Is there something wrong with that? No. How can I tell you don't do that if that's what speaks to you? If you're going to cross lines and say, I pray to this person, this is my person, is my God, Avodah Zarah. But if you say, I go to this place and I'm praying to Hashem, bischut this person, or if I go to this place and I pray to Hashem and I get inspired by this person, you go there and it wakes you up and it makes you think about how to grow and how to leave a lasting legacy, leave a lasting impact. It's beautiful. I think that's some of the depth of this, what Rabbi Hanina is saying. Rabbi Hanina is saying is, look, don't go against mikveh. For some people, it's paramount. For this guy, he was about to do a sin, but since after the sin, he wouldn't have a mikveh, he didn't do the sin. Like, it's important. So I think it's a very, very important, subtle, beautiful idea here. Is it required? No. But for some people, it's important. Now, yes, Ron.
Going to do it directly. What's the source for that? Because people say don't do it. What's the good source for going? Most people say don't do it.
So I told, okay. So okay. It's not really. I'm not really prepared to answer you. The question is, I'm not really prepared to answer. But I said, when the I'm getting a phone call. When the Meraglim, the 12 spies, were going into the land of Israel, it says that they passed by the city of Hebron. And right there, the Midrash says that Yoshua went to Hebron to pray at the kever of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov to pray for success. Okay, Rami, you asked me for a source for this side, and I gave it to you. Like, oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the source of this side.
Both sides.
Exactly. But the others will say he didn't pray to Abraham. He prayed to Hashem, and he went in the zchut, and he went there to get, like I said, to be inspired. Abraham Avinu was someone that went against. He was Ivri. What does Ivri mean? He went against everyone. Yoshua knew it's going to be a struggle, so he went, and before he went in, he got strength from the role model of Abraham Avinu that I'm not going to let go of my values, even if I have to be like Abraham Avinu. I'm going to be like Abraham Avinu. So that's the idea. He got this inspiration. It doesn't mean that's it's a midrash. It's not a halachic source. You have to understand Agadah in the right way, to proceed with caution also. Okay, let's keep going.
Wait, Rabbi.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Dilmani.
Wait, so these rabbis, are they disagreeing or disputing the decree of Ezra Sofer, or was it
Very
abolished
good.
at this point?
Excellent question. I was going to get to this. Very good, David. We're talking about all in the times when the takana was still in place. The way we saw it last week, and the way we're going to see Shulchan Aruch tells us, is that the takana was in place. Ezra Sofer did establish something, but there was a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of leniencies around Ezra Sofer's takana, and eventually the takana was abolished. So we're talking about the times that it was around, there was leniencies in it. That you had to go to the mikveh, or arba'im, or 9 kavin was also okay. So even within the takana, there was leniencies, and you could see some people would talk about it, some people wouldn't. Some people were strict, some people were not. Some people were saying, some Rabbi Shimon Levi was saying, why would you even do the harder way? What benefit is that? That's what we're saying now. So you could see that this was clearly not a full-fledged tumah. This was a takana. Ezra Sofer did something to keep people from being like roosters and going and to be in moderation. Yes, Andy.
So Rabbi Yehuda ben Ezra says that
Yes.
do not contract Tumah. His contention is that Ezra Sofer never even said this thing. It was a misunderstanding, or like, how does he get this?
Okay, excellent question. Rabbi Yehuda ben Ezra was one of the Amoraim that told us this doesn't that divrei Torah inan mikablin tumah, that Baal Keri does not need to go to the mikveh. So does that mean he just disagrees with Ezra? How could you disagree with Ezra Sofer? So Tosfot asked this question, and Tosfot gave us a few answers.
Right, it's like 3 things. So one of it is like he holds that this Takana never got fully
Correct.
established or.
Exactly. So one answer the Tosfot says is that there was discussions about it, but it was never actually finalized. Another one was no, it was there, but after it didn't catch, they abolished it. The third answer is that even Ezra Sofer like almost put an expiration on this because he knew it wasn't going to last forever. Maybe he was talking to his generation or whoever, maybe one generation, two generations.
Gemara is basically all the people giving their opinions on this, what you need to do, what you can study, what you can't study, you're talking. This is 100 years after Ezra Sofer.
This is the times where they were still following this, but there was a point in history where they stopped following it. The cutoff here is not clear, but for our purposes, we no longer have it. Where exactly in history that happened, unclear, but these rabbis are talking about before the time that it got abolished, before that time. Mr. Korvani, you want to ask, you have a question or? No? Oh, okay, I saw your video, that's why I thought you. Okay, very good. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, I really want, to be honest, I wanted to cover more ground tonight, but it's okay, because you're all going to remember Askalav Godoo. Okay, Amar Rav Chasta. Oh, sorry. Amar Lu Ravuna Rabanan. Ravuna says to the rabbis, Rabotai, gentlemen, he's giving a shiur. Rabotai, Mibnei ma atem mizalzelin b'tvilah zo. Why don't you guys go to the mikveh? Why does no one these days goes to the mikveh anymore? They all do the Tisha Kabin. After they're with their wives, they go to the Tisha Kabin. Why do you guys disdain the mikveh so much? Im mishum tzina, what is it called? Efshar b'mechatzaot. You didn't get it. This mikveh requirement, you don't have to go to a real mikveh. Oh, I am not going to go into all of these laws. But there are two types of mikveh. There's a kosher mikveh, like the one that a woman who's a nidah goes to after she's nidah. She has to go to a kosher mikveh. It has to be made with rainwater. But there's another way, to go to a fake mikveh. And what is that? It's a bathtub that you fill up with water. This is not acceptable for a real tumah of a nidah. It's not acceptable. But for this, it is. This is what Rav Huna is telling his students. Again, Ezra Sofer wasn't creating a status of tumah. He was just saying, he wanted to make what's the word? To hold people back from being too much of the word. It's like some sort of an impediment. Some sort of just to create some friction. To slow them down, to make you think twice. So he's saying it doesn't matter if it's a kosher mikveh or not. It doesn't have to be a kosher one. You have to just go to a bathtub. So that's what Rav Huna is saying. What are you guys worried about? That it's freezing cold? You don't have to go to a cold one. You can go to a hot one. Efshar b'merchatzaot. You can go to the bathhouses. Amar lei Rav Chasta. So Rav Chasta said to him, "V'chi yesh tevilah b'chamin? Are you serious? You're not allowed to go in the hot one. You're wrong. No, that's not correct. That's not a correct law." Amarle, so he says to him, Ravada barahava ka'ekavatach. Oh, you hold like Ravada barahava that you have to go to a kosher mikveh, but I don't hold that you have to go to a kosher mikveh. You Rav Chasta, you hold like the other opinion. That says it has to be a kosher mikveh. So now we just learned another difference. You see the differences about Ezra Sofer's Takana. It's so unclear. One view is it has to be 40 se'ah. Kosher mikveh. Another one says no, 40 se'ah in some bathtub. The other one says, no, you don't even need the 40 se'ah. You just need to take 9 kavin and pour it on yourself. And then you have all of these different rabbis. Some saying, why are you being lenient? Why are you being strict? Everything. Clearly, there wasn't a full-fledged, bona fide law that everyone was following the same exact way. You see that there's different views in it. I want to do a little bit more. Rabbi Zera hava yativ gana damaya be'masuda. This is amazing. Rabbi Zera was already sitting in a tub of water. Jacuzzi. Rabbi Zera was in the jacuzzi. Next time you go to the jacuzzi, say, like Rabbi Zera. No, I mean, he was doing it in a kosher way. He went to the jacuzzi. So he tells the person there who was helping him, Zil v'aiti li tisha kabin. Go find me tisha kabin. I need one of these. Ushdi alai ilavai. And throw it on me. He remembered, okay, I have to do Tisha Kabin. Can you go get Tisha Kabin and pour it on me? Amalei Rabbi Chia bar Abbas, Rabbi Chia tells him, what do you need to pour water on yourself for? You're sitting in the water. He was sitting in more than this amount. he was sitting in bigger amount than this. So you're sitting, you have Tisha Kabin poured on you, you're already sitting there. Amalahu Ka'arba'im Se'ah. No. You have to stay in your lane. Ka'arba'im Se'ah. Just like when there's 40 Se'ah, Ma'arba'im Se'ah Bitvila Velo Benetina, when it's 40 Se'ah, you have to immerse yourself in it, not pour it on you. So if you're going to be doing the 9 kavin measurement, you can't immerse yourself in it. You have to pour yourself on it, which means your options are you could either pour 9 kavin or immerse in 40 se'ah. But since this amount was less than 40 se'ah, you can't go immerse in 9 kavin. Or what was less than 40 se'ah. Let's say he had a small jacuzzi that was, I don't know, 20 se'ah. So he was sitting in there. Like, you can't do tevilah if you're doing the tisha kabin. You got to pour it. That's why he told his someone who was working for him, go fill up tisha kabin and pour it on me. You got to stay in your lane. Again, Rav Nachman, this is I love this because I got inspired by him. I got inspired by Rav Nachman. You ready? Rav Nachman taken chatzba bat tisha kabin. Rav Nachman prepared a jug with the capacity of 9 cup. This whole thing was in the zechut of Rav Nachman. He inspired me to do it. So Rav Nachman went on Etsy and he started selling the tisha kabin jug. This thing right here. Instead of running O-Cedar, it's like 09 kabin. This is what he sold. He ata Rav Dimi. So Rav Dimi came from Israel. Amar Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yehuda Glustera Amru. So he quotes that these rabbis said, Lo shanu ela lechole leonso. Aval lechole hamargil 40 se'ah. Hold on a second. Rav Nachman, this 9 kabin doesn't work for everyone. It only works for someone who was sick and had an emission unwillingly. Something happened. But if it was someone who was sick and that person had relations, he needs to go into the mikveh. Okay, we're now going to enter into a whole 4-way view of who is allowed to use the tisha kabin leniency. Up until now, I've been saying, the whole thing, 9 kabin is enough. We're going to say, no, it depends. Some say I have 2 things in a matrix. I have healthy and sick, sick. Then I have hamargil, which means someone who had relations. In other words, he had an emission deliberately, or leonso, he had an emission unintentionally, by accident. It happened. So now what we're going to say is, the guy who is healthy and he had relations, he has to go to the mikveh. But what happens if the guy is sick? He's the one we're going to have a leniency on. But what happens if this happened by accident? Okay, him will have a leniency on. What happens if the guy was sick and it was an accident? He doesn't have to do anything at all. Or maybe not. There's different opinions here. I don't know what to do. I don't think we could get through this right now. Unless you guys give me like maybe 5-10 minutes. What do you think? Let's do it, Rama? Okay, if anyone has to get up and go, you can go. Sorry, I still want to tell you about Kiddush. But I want to do this because we're going to cover some ground, okay? Because I don't want to have to do this next time if we don't have to. Amar Rav Nachman. Sorry, Rav Nachman taken chatzbah. Back to the top. Rav Nachman made one of these. Tisha kabin. So, when Rav Dimi came, Rav Dimi said, Lo shanu ela lechole leonso. Hold on a second. This thing only works for someone who was sick and it happened by accident. Which means you need to have 2 strikes. It has to be that number 1, the guy is sick, so getting him to go to the mikveh is not easy. And also the whole emission happened by accident. But if he's sick, but it was deliberate, 40 se'ah, go to the mikveh. You had relations, we're making this hard for you. Go to the mikveh. Amar Rav Yosef says, Itbar chatzbeh de Rav Nachman, go break that jug that he made. What did he go make that jug for? It's only for a sick guy by accident. You can't sell anything. Go break it. Ki ata Ravin, so Ravin was the next rabbi. Amar be'usha uvdada. He says, no, you guys get the details wrong. In Usha, there was a story, Bekilad Rav Oshaya, in the chamber of Rav Oshaya, and we just turned to 22B. Atu ushilu l'Rav Aseh, and over there, this question was discussed. Rav Aseh was dealing with this question. Amar lahu, he said to them, Lo shanu ela lechol nehar margil. The 9 kavin is for a sick guy who was deliberate, meaning only 1 strike, and the fact that he's sick, even though he had relations, he could be lenient. But if he's sick and it was an accident, patur miklum, he doesn't have to go at all. The poor guy is sick. This happened in the middle of the night by accident. You don't have to go at all. Amar Rav Yosef, go bring it back. You just fix Rav Nachman's jar. The last one, Rav Dimi came and he said it's only for someone that was sick and by accident, only he could use the leniency. We broke the jar. Now you're coming and saying, no, the guy who was sick by accident doesn't need anything at all. But if he's sick, even if it's intentional, he could use the jar. Okay, get your crazy glue, stick it back together. We need it again. That's what he's saying. Michti, hold on a second. Just take a second back here. A lot of this discussion has to go to this. Kulahu emora'eh v'tana'eh. All of these rabbis, all of these Amoraim, all of these Tanaim, we're arguing what was Ezra Sofer's takana. So go find the takana. Did he write it somewhere? What was Ezra Sofer's takana? Do you follow how many different opinions we have? Do you need 40 se'ah? Kosher mikveh. 40 se'ah? Not kosher mikveh. 9 kabin. 9 kabin for a sick person. 9 for a sick person that was deliberate. 6 person that was an accident. No, 6 person that was accident doesn't need to do anything. Something that was deliberate. It's like, what was his takana? What did Ezra Sofer say? How could there be so many opinions about one thing? What did he say? Go back to the source. Amar Abaye. So Abaye says, let me explain to you. By the way, what Abaye says now is going to be argued on. Okay? Abaye, he said, I'm going to tell you the source. Ezra taken lebari hamargil arba'im se'ah. Ezra said, look, you're healthy. You're bari. And margil means intentional. He had relations. Arba'im se'ah. You have to go to a full-fledged mikveh. Ezra came and said, healthy guy, having relations, go to the mikveh. Ubari le'onso, and if you're a healthy guy, and it was an accident, tisha kabin. 9 kabin is enough. So, a healthy guy, it's accident, 9 kabin. Ve'atu emura'e upligi becholeh. And Ezra was only talking about a healthy person. And then the Amoraim come afterwards and they speak about what about someone who was sick? Mor savar choleh hamargil kebari hamargil v'choleh leonso ke'abarik leonso. One says there's no difference between healthy and sick, so it's all the same. Just as a healthy, deliberate needs to go to mikveh, also sick, deliberate has to go to the mikveh. Healthy leonso as an accident, 9 kabin, also sick. That's one opinion. The other opinion says, no, it's a notch down. Someone who is sick and it was deliberate, it's like someone who is healthy and accident, which we said was only 9 kabin. And if someone who was sick and it happened by accident, patur miklum, he doesn't have to do anything. So Abaye says, Israel only spoke about healthy people, and then the Amorim afterwards said, well, should we make a leniency for sick people or not? And that's the machloket. Amar Rava says, I disagree with you. Nehi titaken Ezra tevila. Ezra made the takana only for the mikveh. Netina mitiken. Did he ever talk about the pouring? No. Amar Mor says, Ezra tiken tevila lebal keriyan. Ezra stopped at mikveh. 40 se'ah. He never even talked about this 9 kabin. Where did you even get this 9 kabin from? Ezra never spoke about such a thing. Ela Amar Rava says, Ezra tiken tevila lebari hamargil arba'im se'ah. Ezra came and said, healthy person that's deliberate mikveh. This they agree on. The Atu Rabbanan, the Hatkunu lebari leonso tisha kabin. The rabbis came and said, but if it's a healthy person that it was an accident, you still need to do something. It's an accident. Ezra didn't require anything of you, but we're going to require 9 kabin. And then the next generation of Amoraim come and they argue about someone who's sick. One says there's no difference between healthy and sick. So just as healthy, deliberate is mikveh, and then the next generation of rabbis came and said healthy accident is 9 kabin, same with sick. The other one says no. The one that is, this is the last thing, lebari hamargil, healthy, intentional, arba'im se'ah, v'choleh hamargil, kibari leonso, someone who is sick and deliberate, or is the same as someone who is healthy and it's an accident, tisha kabin, 9 kabin, aval lecholeh leonso patir miklum, and someone who's sick and unintentional, patur from everything. Okay? We just made a nice grid. I know I'm running through it. It's okay. Amar Rava. Rava says, Hilcheta, what is the final law which has been abolished? But what is the final law before pre-abolishment? Bari Margil, healthy and deliberate. Vecholeh Margil, also sick and deliberate. 40 se'ah. Needs to go to 40 se'ah in the mikveh. So if it's deliberate, mikveh. Ubari le'onso, healthy by accident, 9 kavin, 9 kavin. Aval lecholeh le'onso, if he is sick and it happened by accident, patur miklum, he doesn't have to do anything. Doesn't have to do anything. I am going to quickly show you Shulchan Aruch, and then we're going to end. Halacha, no. Shulchan Aruch, Siman. I think 88. I think I saw it was 88. Boom, that's it. Okay, here we go. Baal Keri. Mutar b'kriyat Shema. Okay, Rama, you see this? Halacha lema'aseh. Final law, right here. Kol hatimi'im korin b'Torah. Anyone who is tameh is allowed to study Torah. The korin kriyat Shema, you're allowed to study read Shema. Umitpalelin, and you're allowed to pray. Every tumah, chutz mi Baal Keri, except for a man who had a seminal emission. Shehotzio Ezra michlal hatimi'im, because Ezra separated him out and said, no, you are different. You have to go to the mikveh. Ve'asru ben b'divrei Torah, ben b'kriyat Shema tefillah, not from learning and not from Shema. You're not allowed to do anything. Ad sheitbol, until you go to the mikveh. Kedei shelo yu talmidei chachamim mitzuyin etzel neshotehem ketarnegolin, so that talmidei chachamim aren't going like with their wives like roosters. Ve'achar kach, and afterwards, batlu ota tekana, that enactment was abolished. And he went back to the original law, which was all people that are tameh are allowed to study Torah. She'af bal keri mutar b'divrei Torah or kriyat Shema v'tefillah belo tevilah. You do not need to go to the mikveh. Uvlo rechitza b'tisha kavin, and you do not need to wash yourself with 9 kavin. V'chen pashat minhag, and that is the minhag. That is the final minhag, that you do not need to go. No mikveh, no tisha kabin. This is where all the commentators talk about how before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it's good to follow this takana. And that's why there's this practice to go to the mikveh before Rosh Hashanah and before Yom Kippur. What about using tisha kabin? It's machloket achronim about whether you could use the shower, but it seems like most opinions, Yalkut Yosef definitely says it's fine to use a shower, which means, I'm gonna break a secret here, but Ben Azai also did it. On Erev Rosh Hashanah and Erev Yom Kippur, all you need to do is stand under the streaming shower for 3-4 minutes. And if you have Rama's shower head, 15 seconds is enough. You just, then doesn't no cold, no hot. Just pouring water on yourself. Now, some will say, no, you need to have the act of actual pouring. Oh, there's the water in there. You need the act of actual pouring so that the shower doesn't work. But like I said, Yaakov Yosef says it's fine. So if an Erev Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, you don't want to go to the mikveh, you have this leniency, just stand under the water for a few minutes. Okay, you could shampoo while you're doing that also. Yes, Rama.
Abolished, they got rid of the because of the worry of no creative and no learning extra of Torah.
Both sides.
They wanted to make it so that don't make it so strict. That
Yes.
people are gonna go
Yes. Okay, I'm using borrowed time, but sorry, Andy asked. Okay, Andy said, what is the shiur of Kiddush?
Every is 3.8 milliliters.
Okay, hold on a second. You're already saying the middle. Okay, so here we go. Revi'it, what we're saying is it's a revi'it of a log. Okay, I'm going to show you the chart now, and you're going to be able to do this yourself. Let me show you the chart. Revi'it of a log. How many beitzim, eggs, are in a fourth of a log? You got it. I give everyone a chance. Not 1.5. Yeah, 1.5. Very good. Exactly. So look, if I need a quarter of a log, how many beitzim are in a log? 6. So I need a quarter of that. What's a quarter of 6? 1.5. I need 1.5 betzim in order to say kiddush. So if you're going to tell me how much is 1.5, this times this. So you need 81 milliliters of water or wine for kiddush. This is the most lenient, it's a very lenient view. Some say it should be a little bit more. But that is less than 3 ounces. How many ounces is it? 2.8 ounces. So it's a drop less than 3 ounces. What that means is when you say kiddush, you don't need to say this, but you can't use a 1 ounce shot glass. You can't even use a 2 ounce shot glass. No. The cup. Sorry? That's the cup. The cup needs to have a revi'it, which we're saying is 81 cubic centimeters of water or wine, which is 3 ounces. So this is very important. Sorry? Milliliters is the same as cubic cent. 1 milliliter of water is equal to 1 cubic centimeter of water. So what this means is as follows. When you say kiddush, you have to have, I'm going to call it 3 ounces. It's a drop less than 3 ounces. Your cup needs to have 3 ounces. If you have 2 ounce glass, they pick up these shot glasses and they say kiddush. You can't. You need a revi'it. Also, for the arba kosot of Pesach night, you have a month to prepare. Sometimes people use these 1 ounce shot glasses. Sorry, you need to have a revi'it. You need to have 3 ounce shot glasses. So if you know you're going to go somewhere for the Pesach Seder and you know that they don't have it, I have your Pesach gift. I know what you could buy them. Go buy them a bunch of 3 ounce shot glasses. That's what you could use it on because that's what you need. How do I know? The answer is because this, by the way, is the most lenient opinion. Let's say you want to follow the Khatam Sofer. Okay, so now I'm going to make your. It's 170. Oh, that's like 7 ounces. Yeah, you need 6-7 ounces. You need something big. You need one of those big cups. That's yeah, exactly. Okay. I know we spent a lot of time tonight, but I think we did some good things. Let's very quickly do a very quick review. Tell me, Askelav Godoo. Kav, Log, Betza, and then what's the numbers? What is it in Hebrew? Godoo. Askelav Godoo. Okay. So it's Efa, Shlosha, Se'in. Se'a, Shisha Kavin. Kav, Arba Login, and Log, Shisha Betzim. Okay, and so you know this, and then I'll tell you that Rav Yosef says that a Betzah is 54 milliliters. You now can do any calculation. You know all the elements. You know how to do all of the conversions. You know how to do all of the calculations. So if I tell you, I'm going to give you homework. In order to take off challah, you guys don't bake. You don't bake challah, but in the bake of challah, you have to, for hafrashat challah, your dough needs to have mag beitzim v'chomesh beitza, 43.2 beitzim. How many pounds of flour is that? Okay, go tell your wives. Hazak Baruch, Hazak Baruch.
Question.
Why?
Because Beisan's volume pounds his weight.
Okay, fine. Yeah, it is a trick question. It is a trick question. I could leave on a trick question. Yeah, Hazak Baruch, everyone. Hazak